Yo, what is good, YouTube, and welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we are going to be ranking the best power forwards in NBA 2K22 MyTEAM on a tier list. Now, before we hop into this video, the first thing I want to say is that this list is composed entirely of primary power forwards. So for guys, for example, who dropped today, like Pink Diamond, Lamar Odom, and Diamond Tony Kukoc, as well as the vast majority of other centers and small forwards who can also play the power forward position, they're not going to be on this list. So just keep that in mind. That being said, there is a ton of cards on this list. So this video is going to take a while, so I'm going to try not to waste too much time with the intro. If y'all have it, I would appreciate it if y'all do subscribe, if y'all do enjoy the content on the channel. I upload multiple videos almost every single day and basically upload every single day. Very, very rarely miss an upload, so I'd really appreciate your support if you haven't already, if you do subscribe. Without further ado, let's not waste any more time. Let's hop right into it. Start off with Aaron Gordon, who I think falls right into that B tier. A guy who isn't elite, but isn't bad. He just doesn't have a lot of flaws. And there's some cards on this list, I'm going to be honest, that have some decent flaws, and this Aaron Gordon card is not one of them. Just no significant flaws. You know, he's got decent athleticism, decent defense, really good slasher, solid shooter. Badge-wise, he's okay. He doesn't get bullet pass or bailout. Those are two big badges that he doesn't get. That does hurt a card. But the jumper is solidly quick, smooth, pretty easy to green. Movement isn't elite, but it's not god-awful. Like, he's just a really mediocre card. He's not going to do anything special for you, but I don't think he's going to do anything terrible either, so I think that slots right into the B tier. And there's probably going to be a lot of guys like that on this list. Now, Amari Stodomier, I'm legitimately going to put him in D tier. I think this card stinks. I may wind up moving him up just because there might be some guys on this list who I think are significantly worse than him. But Amari definitely is not a card that I'm super high on at all. He's just 6'10", so he has good size, but he doesn't have a lot of badges. He's slow. His defense is mediocre. His jumper is mediocre. This card doesn't do much well at the power forward position. Not a big fan of the card. Now, AK. Is AK good enough at this point in the year where I would put him in the A tier? I don't think so. I think I'm going to slot him in B tier. I think he's better than Aaron Gordon, but he's still kind of limited offensively is the thing about this card, and he's missing some key badges as well, which does hurt him a bit. But that being said, he's a really good defender, has half clamps, half chase stars, half pogo stick, a bunch of good gold badges, can get quick first step and sniper. Jumper is solid, 80 shot 3, good athleticism, and jump shot 29 is pretty good. Doesn't have very good movement, and he's missing a couple badges like a limitless spot up, rebound chaser, things like that at the power forward position. But overall, he's not a bad card. I think you could make an argument from A tier. For now, I'm going to go B tier, but he may get moved up at some point. Now this AK is without a doubt S tier. I think arguably the best power forward in the game. Probably not the best power forward in the game, but he's right up there with the best ones. 6'9" with a 7-foot wingspan, hot spots on 3 out of 5 spots, 10 hops, which include like a bunch of really elite defensive badges like Clamps, Interceptor, Intimidator, as well as Bullet Passer, Dimer, a bunch of good other defensive badges, elite defensive stats across the board. He's a solid dunker, really good shooter, and solid athlete as well. Jump shot 98 with at least 21 upper. I think it's phenomenal. I'm a big fan of 98, even this year with it not being quite as good as it's been in previous years. Movement still isn't elite, but he's one of the best 3-and-D cards in the game. Really, really good all-around option at that power forward position. I think Anton Jameson, this Diamond Anton, probably slots in pretty well at the C tier. He's better than a guy like Andre Kirilenko, but than Amari Stodomier, but definitely not a card I'd be running at this point in the year. 6'8", so he's got decentish size, but he's kind of slow, mediocre defender, badge-wise doesn't come super complete, can't get playmaking or shooting badges added like limitless sniper, quick first step, does get defensive badges if you want to add them to him, and his jumper is solid, but doesn't have great movement. He's a guy who's going to catch and shoot and play a little bit of defense, but even that, not that great. So yeah. Pretty mediocre card. Not a huge fan of Anton Jameson at this point in the year. That being said, his other card, and we're going to see that a few times on this list, guys whose first cards of the year just aren't very good at this point, but their new card is much better. And this Anton Jameson is an example of a guy who's much better. 6'8" with a 7'4" wingspan, hot spots from 4 out of 5 spots, 16 hops, pretty complete on the badges, not missing a lot of crucial badges, can get interceptor, menace, ankle braces, things like that, chef and blinder, sniper. So badge-wise, he can get those key badges in the shooting and defensive badges to make him pretty complete. Good athlete, solid dunker, good shooter, solid enough defender. Again, good jumper. Movement still isn't elite, but he's just a much better all-around card in terms of his stats, badges, and all that stuff, and I think he is an A tier guy. Not good enough for S tier, but still a solid all-around card. Now this Anthony Davis, the Pink Diamond, not a bad card, but again, I don't think he's a great card. He's kind of there, to be completely honest. 6'10" with a 7'2" wingspan, hot spots on 3 out of 5 spots, not the fastest, only 79 speed. His defense is okay, but he's missing some badges like you have to add quick first step bailout to him. He doesn't get clamps. He doesn't get limitless spot. He doesn't get sniper. Doesn't get rebound chaser. There's some badges he's missing for sure. And I think he's a bit limited at this point in the year. Not the greatest card whatsoever. Not the worst either. Jumper is good, but I just would not recommend running him. I think he slots into the C tier with him not being super athletic, not an elite defender, and missing some badges. I think that limits the card for sure. All right, I do want to mention real quickly that I did decide to add an F tier because I think with the amount of small forwards on this list, it's worth adding an F tier to have an extra tier for some of these worst cards. And I think honestly, Amari Stodomier slots in among those worst cards. And I'm going to move AD. I believe AD in C tier, but we might wind up moving him down to B tier at some point or D tier at some point because I think having that extra slot could be useful for a tier list like this just to give us a little bit more flexibility. Now this AD, I will go S tier. I will say that, and this goes for both of the ADs. The only really significant difference between these two Anthony Davises is that the 75th can get limitless spot up and this one can't. But honestly, even without that, his jumper is really good. He's a good athlete, elite defender, really good interior player, great shooter. Shooting badges are elite even without limitless. And on the other one, just limitless is that extra boost. But he also comes with great shooting badges, quick first step on half claims, intimidator, pogo stick, post lockdown, rebound chaser, rim protector. In my opinion, Anthony Davis is the best center in the game, but this is a power forward tier list, and at power forward, I wouldn't say he's the best power forward in the game, but he's right up there with the best ones. Definitely an S tier guy. Really, really good card, no doubt about it. Billy Cunningham, I don't know if I put him in A or B tier. I think I'd put him in B tier. I don't think he's elite, but he's good enough where you could make an argument for A tier, I think. I will say he's a bit undersized, only 6'6" with a 6'9" wingspan, but he does have really solid defensive stats, really good athlete, great slasher for the for the power forward position. Hall of Fame quick first step, chase down his pogo stick, his nice bunch of interior finishing badges, can get limitless and sniper, as well as badges like bailout, glue hands, things like that, rim protector. So badges out, he's solid. Jumper is pretty good. It's not great, but it's solid. It's just left-handed Blake Griffin, honestly, is the way that I would describe it. Well, it is Blake Griffin's release, but he's left-handed, so just a solid all-around card. Nothing special, a little bit undersized, but not the greatest or not the worst option in the game at this point. And then we have Blake, who I think I'm gonna move Jameson down to D tier because I think that seems fair, and we're gonna put Blake in that C tier. Blake, I would say, is significantly better than a guy like Anthony Davis, but 6'10" with 6'11" wingspan, he's good. The perimeter defense and low steal is really that holds a card back a bit. He's a good shooter, but I guess he does get limitless, so that's nice. Badge wise, he's okay. Gets interceptor, intimidator. Definitely needs badges, pick dodger as well. Needs to have those badges applied to him. Speed is okay. Jumper is fine. Movement is not very good, but overall, not a bad card once badged out. Not an elite card. Not the greatest perimeter defender. I think C tier is probably a little bit low, so I will move him up into the B tier because he definitely is better than a guy like Anthony Davis, but not a great card at this point in the year. Bob Pettit is a no-brainer F tier, one of the most obvious F tiers among any of the players that'll be on tier lists for the rest of the year, I would say. 6'9" with 7-foot wingspan, really bad badges. He's got 60 speed, horrendous defense. Do I need to say anything more? Jumper is fine, but even that's not that good. This card sucks. I'm not even going to waste any more time looking at him. Now, Boris Dio, I think probably is yet another. We're going to have a lot of B tiers on this list, I feel like, because there's a lot of mediocre guys. But I think Boris Dio seems pretty fair to put into that B tier. A guy who isn't crazy good, but isn't bad at all. 6'8", 3 out of 5 hotspots. Playmaking badges are on his Hoffs, which are not great. But he's a pretty good all-around defender. Can dunk a little bit, can shoot a little bit, and can have a little bit of athleticism as well. Jump shot 40, and not the best release, but not the worst at all. Doesn't get limitless, which hurts a little bit, but overall, pretty good card. As an Amethyst, you probably don't want to badge him out, so badges like Interceptor, Rim Protector, Quick First Step aren't going to be on this card, so he's definitely going to be limited, but he's not a bad card on his own. Jumper is okay. I think B tier is probably fair for a guy like, I don't know. I'm tempted to put him in C tier, but I think I'm going to leave him B tier for now. Brian Scalabrine, I know he has Hoff Limitless, but I don't really know much about this card. 6'9" with a 6'9" wingspan. Defense is mediocre. Slashing is mediocre. Quick needs badges, but you're not going to add badges to a card like this, especially a reward Amethyst. So no quick first step, no rim protector, no chase down artist, no ball stripper, brick wall, chef. So he's missing some badges for sure. Not the fastest not the fastest player. Jumper is good. Movement is horrendous. Big dribble style, I think, is the worst dribble style in the game. He's a great shooter, but I don't know. I think I got to move him and Dio down to C tier. I don't think either of them give me a ton at the power forward position without being badged out. And in Dio's case, without having that duo, I think the cards are just limited. And I think C tier is probably the fairest place to put them at this point in the year, to be completely honest. Calvin Nat, I think you could almost make an argument for A tier, and I am tempted to put him in A tier, but I just am going to lean toward the B tier for Calvin Nat because of the fact that he is only 6'6", really fast at this power forward position, which is really nice. Great dunker as well. Can shoot, needs limitless sniper, things like that, but a low 3-point rating isn't a big issue this year. Easy enough to green with as well. Movement isn't great, but he's a really solid all-around defender, good defensive stats, gold badges basically across the board. Needs glue hands, needs those shooting badges like I mentioned, but I think he's solid. I think he's another B tier guy. One of the better cards in B tier. Not a great card, but not a bad card either. Boozer is another C tier guy. I think partially because his name is Carlos Boozer. People just don't like the card, but he's also just not that special. Like, he's kind of slow, not a great defender, especially on the perimeter, not an elite interior defender either. He could shoot, which is nice, and he has some decent shooting badges because of the fact that he has that New Year's resolution thing. But jump shot 1, it's okay. It's not great. Big dribble style sucks. No playmaking badges, no defensive badges, at least in terms of crucial ones. He's missing a lot of crucial ones in both those areas, and just a very limited card. Not a card I'd be running at this point in the year. Chris Bosh, I think, is a good power forward option for sure. Definitely a really solid card, no doubt about it. 6'11" with 7'3" wingspan. A little bit slow again, not the greatest of perimeter defenders, but he's a really nice shooter. Elite shooting badges across the board. Playmaking badges are solid, needs that quick first step, but otherwise he's pretty good. Same thing with badges like clamps, pick dodger, things like that. Jumper is a set shot, but it's one of the best set shots in the game. Honestly, I feel like it's pretty smooth and pretty easy to green. Movement is not great, but he's a great pick and pop guy. Really solid interior defender, not a terrible perimeter defender, and just an overall knockdown shooter. So definitely, I think, can make an argument for him in A tier. Chris Webber goes right where Anthony Davis goes. To be completely honest, I think they are very, very similar cards. Both came out around the same time in October. 6'9" with a 7'3" wingspan, so he's not elite size. Does get some okay badges, but you're not going to want to apply badges on a card like this at this point. He doesn't get quick first step. Decent defender, decent dunker, not the slowest card in the world. Jumper works fine, but he's just outdated in terms of his badges. His stats have been a little bit low, things like that. Just not an elite center, or power forward option at this point in the year. Cliff Robinson, I'm honestly tempted because I don't like his jumper to put him in the B tier, despite the fact that he is a really solid defender. And you know what? Since it's my list, I think I'm going to do that. I am not a fan of Cliff Robinson's jump shot, and that might be a me thing, but I just don't like it. 6'10" with 7'1" wingspan, so he has solid size, but his defensive stats are good, and his defensive badges are really good. He's got Hoff, Interceptor, Intimidator, Pogo Stick, Post Lockdown, Gold, Rebound Chaser, and Rim Protector. Pretty good playmaking badges, could get Limitless and Sniper on offense as well. Good speed. I just don't like the jumper at all. I think that might be, I guess, with fundamental dribble style as well, he's kind of inherently A tier, I feel like, despite the fact that I'm not a big fan of the card. But not a card I personally would be running, but I think still a very runnable card if you did grind him out. So I am going to put him in the A tier still because he is a super solid card, despite the fact that I'm not a huge fan of him personally. Danny Manning is either C or D tier, honestly. I mean, I'm sorry, it's D or F tier. This card sucks. I'm going to be completely honest. He's kind of slow. Really low 3-point rating. Amari jumper's very mediocre. Very poor defender on the perimeter. Badge wise, he sucks. Yeah, this is an F tier card. Not even gonna waste my time. Definitely gonna throw him down in F tier and move on. Rodman. You know what? I don't think I can put Rodman in the S tier. I don't know. I'm looking at this list. No, some people love Rodman. That's what I want to say. One thing I want to say is people adore this Rodman card, and I think he's really good, but the jumper kind of kills it for me, and I see at least 3 guys in this list that I would rather put over him in the S tier, so I'm going to slide him into the A tier. The problem with Rodman is that I just don't think he's very good offensively in terms of his shooting ability. He has great speed. He's one of the best, if not the best, defensive cards of the game. His defensive badges are just nutty. Playmaking badges are good for a power forward. Can get Limitless and Sniper. 83 shot 3, so he can shoot the ball. Fundamental dribble style. The problem with this card is, without a doubt, the fact that I do not like the jumper at all. It's set shot 17 on normal, same basis guys like Wilton, Dikembe. At the 3 or the 4, you just can't have that in the court, in my personal opinion. And he's not a card I would ever run for me personally, despite the fact that I know he's a very good card, similar to a guy like Cliff Robinson. If I don't like your release, it's very unlikely you're going to play on my court, despite the fact that you may be a good overall card. So for that reason, I'm putting Rodman in the A tier, despite the fact that he is maybe the best defensive card in my team. Dirk, I think, goes in the F tier, to be completely honest, as much as it pains me to say that. He has great size, but he's incredibly slow, an incredibly bad defender, needs a lot of defensive and playmaking badges. Jump shot is very, very mediocre. Movement is good, but fundamental dribble style doesn't matter much when your speed is 65. He is stupid slow, a stupid bad defender. Hard to run a guy like that against some of the more athletic power forwards on this list, and I just don't think he can be run. So for me, he's honestly F tier. Dolph Schayes, I will still put in the B tier. He has been out for a while, and I think he is kind of a limited option at this point because he's missing a couple of crucial badges. For example, he's missing the bailout badge and the quick first step badge and can't get him, but he does get clamps, interceptor, bullet passer, deadeye, things like that to make him a solid all-around card. Really good stretch big as well, like pick and pop, solid dunker, and jump shot 38 on quick is one of the best, smoothest, easiest to green releases in the game. I love his pick and pop release, and that does help the card for sure, despite the fact that he is missing a couple of those crucial badges, so I will go ahead and put him in the B tier. Domantas Sabonis, I think D tier is pretty fair for him. Just not a very good card, to be completely honest. I'll quickly skim over him. He's got good size, but he's slow, very poor defender. He can shoot a bit, and I guess that's nice, and he does have some decent playmaking badges. Doesn't get quick first step, but jumper is really mediocre. Movement isn't great. I guess because I think he's better than the guys in D tier because he's not quite as slow as them, and he can shoot the ball a little bit better than most of those guys, but I still don't think he's a very good card at all. So he's better than F tier, but I still think he's D tier for sure. I accidentally dragged DeMontis somehow. I think Draymond at power forward is probably an A tier guy. Draymond is just kind of one of those glue guys who's really, really good, an elite budget guy who you could still run with a lot of success. Not elite size, but he's solidly fast, elite defender, really good badges, both in the playmaking and defensive areas, can get limitless and sniper. Jumper is smooth and really easy to green, even though it's not the fastest, and he has the pivot behind the back, which is a nice full court dribble stick as well. Really solid card, not going to make a lot of mistakes for you. I think A tier is pretty fair for a Draymond card. Mobley, at the power forward position, he's B. Even at center, he might still be B. He's solid. I think he's better at center. He has really good size, which is nice, but he's not the fastest card in the world at the power forward position, although not slow. Really good defender. Perimeter defense is pretty solid as well with that lateral quickness as well. He's a good shooter. I like his jumper. It's smooth, easy to green. He just doesn't have the movement or speed quite enough, I don't think, to be an elite power forward, but I still think he probably is a B tier guy. Really solid pick and pop, who's a good defender. Not really much of a playmaker at all, but he is a really, really solid all-around card. One of the best amethyst cards in the game still, and I think B tier is pretty fair for a guy like that. I'm going to be completely honest. I am very tempted to put this Giannis in the S tier. I know I'm putting this Opal Giannis in the S tier. We'll get to both of them at the same time. How about that? But I'm going to put 75th Giannis in the A tier because there are a couple guys who I would prefer to run. That might be a lie. You know what? I'm going to do exactly what I did last week, which was, or last tier list with the small forward position. I'm going to put 6 guys in the S tier. I think that that's the most fairest way. Nice. Good English, Josh. The fairest way to do this list. And this Giannis, the pink diamond, is 6'11" with 7'4" wingspan, low 3-pointer, but with a +4 shoe, +5 coach, all that stuff. He gets into the 80s once you have floor general and dimer applied as well. Shooting badges, he can get every shooting badge, which is nice on gold. Defensively, he's already really solid, really good defender, solidly athletic. Jumper is really good. And then you hop over to the Opal, which does not get every shooting badge. Like, he doesn't get limitless spot up, he doesn't get sniper, he doesn't get blinders or deadeye, but he does have a +7 3-pointer, and I think this one does shoot better. He's also faster, much better badges in terms of quick first step, clamps, intimidator, menace, pogo stick, etc. on Hoff that the other one did not have. I think the Opal is better than the pink diamond, but I think the pink diamond is still usable, even at a very competitive level. One of the best defensive cards in the game. Both Giannis's are incredible defenders. I think the Opal is just a little bit more consistent as a shooter, despite the fact that he doesn't get all the shooting badges. But yeah, they're both elite cards for sure. Glenn Davis, I might be putting him a bit low, but I'm to be honest, I don't think this card is very good. I could be wrong. I guess 75 speed and excel, 78 shot 3, decent-ish defense, missing a lot of badges though, and he's a reward card, so you're not going to want to put badges on him. Jumper is okay, big dribble style. He's slightly better than Domantas Sabonis and Anton Jameson, I would say, just slightly, but still not a very good card. Missing a lot of badges. You're not going to apply those badges to him, and Jumper is an elite. I think D tier is pretty fair for him. Jamal Mashman, I think, does slot into the C tier. He's not a completely terrible card. At this point, still not a guy I would be using at the power forward position, but I think you potentially use a bull. 6'8" with 3 hotspots, not a ton of total badges, but he does have some good solid finishing and shooting badges. Can get limitless and sniper, even though I don't recommend badging him out at this point. Can get quick first step, clamps, interceptor as well. Defensive stats are okay. He's relatively fast. Jumper is okay as well. He's decent slasher. He's not terrible. He's better than the guys in D tier, but he's not a guy I'm still high on. So I think C tier still is pretty fair for a guy like Jamal Mashburn. Now, James Worthy, is he deserving of being in the A tier? I think so. I think if I'm going to put Draymond in the A tier, I think I also have to put James Worthy in the A tier, because James Worthy is definitely a really solid card. I think it's gone under the radar just a little bit. Decent speed and excel, really well-rounded defense, really good slasher, and solid shooter. Can get limitless and sniper as well as bullet passer, quick first step, maybe a ball stripper or a rebound chaser, things like that. So definitely going to want to add a couple badges to him if you do use the card. His upper is really weird. It's like a weird low to the ground, like releases it from his chin type of release, but jump shot 22 base is really smooth, and it is a very easy release to green. He's one of the better defenders in the game as well, with the Hoff interceptor post lockdown. So those two things do help him out, and overall just a solid card. One of the worst cards in A tier still, but I do think he is good enough to deserve that spot in A tier. Jarren Jackson Jr. is another guy who I think is better at the center position than at the power forward position, but at center, not a bad card, decent-ish speed, not a bad defender except for that low steal. He won't catch steals, but besides that, he's definitely good. needs quick first step. Already comes with limitless and sniper as well as half catch and half corner, which is definitely nice in terms of the shooting badges. Needs like clamps, ball stripper, rebound chaser as well. So you're going to want to add some badges to him, similar to a guy like James Worthy if you do want to use him. But at this point, I probably wouldn't waste the time on the badges. I think you could get some better budget options for a little bit less expensive. But Jarren Jackson, I think, still does deserve a spot toward the bottom of the B tier. And John Collins. John Collins is either a top of C tier or bottom of B tier guy, kind of similar to Jarren Jackson Jr. 79 speed excel, very mediocre defender, not worth badging out just because he's not that good of a card, doesn't get limitless anyway. Really good dunker. Kobe base is really good in terms of his jump shot, but I think he's better than the guys in C tier, but actually his defense is really mediocre, really poor stats. I guess he does get defensive badges, so that's nice. Half chase down, half pogo, half rebound. He's a little bit better than the guys in C tier, so I guess I will put him at the end of B tier, but he's not a guy I recommend at this point in the year, so that's my take on him. Josh Smith is still, even the Amethyst Josh Smith is still a really solid defensive card. Offensively, he doesn't have any shooting badges and only a 74 shot 3, so it's not the most consistent jumper in the world, but you can still green pretty consistently with him with how easy it is to green this layer. Can get any playmaking badges like a quick first step, bullet pass, or bailout. Also a brick wall on defense, decent rebounder, really good interior defender, solid perimeter defender. Jumper is nice, not the slowest card in the world. He's not bad. He's not great, but he's still not bad. And then we have the Diamond Josh Smith, who I think you could honestly say is great. One of the best budget cards in my team. 6'9", hotspot from both corners, 6 hoffs, which include really good defensive ones like clamps, interceptor, intimidator, and pogo stick. Doesn't get limitless, but he does get sniper. Already has pretty good playmaking badges for a power forward. Really elite defender. Literally one of the best defensive cards in the game. 97 driving duck as well. Same. Like really athletic, much better shooting ability in terms of his badges and stats, but also the same really nice release. So with a much higher 3-point rating, as well as much better shooting badges, he becomes a knockdown shooter as well, and definitely deserves his spot in A tier. And honestly, I think you could make an argument he's the best card in A tier potentially to this point. Karl Malone, I think, is again a C tier, bottom half of C tier, or middle of C tier, I guess, type of guy. Not a great card at all, but not the worst. 6'9", 80 speed, really mediocre defense, missing a lot of badges, not worth adding badges to an Amethyst. But his jumper you can green open, which is nice. He's Karl Malone. I'm not a big fan of Karl Malone for reasons off the basketball court, so I will say that. But yeah, I think he's C tier. Not going to waste a lot of time talking about a guy who I'm not a huge fan of, though. KG, I think, slots in around the B tier, similar to the level of a guy like Cliff Robinson or Jarren Jackson Jr., or guys like that who are just decent bigs at this point in the year. Really good defensive card. Needs a lot of badges, but you probably already did badge him out with limitless and sniper and quick first step and bailouts and things like that if you did get the card a while ago for season 2. Defensively, he's really good. Good slasher. Decent shooter and decent athlete. Jumper's kind of slow, but overall, pretty good card. Really solid defender with really good defensive badges. The slow jumper is not great, and I do feel like he doesn't rebound the way that you would hope that he would with the 95 rebounding stats. I don't think he's good enough to be in the A tier, to be completely honest. He's not as good as a guy like Cliff Robinson, but still a really good card, and or not even a really good card this year. He's still solid. You can still run him and have success, but he's not an elite option that I highly recommend. Kevin Love would be a really good card if he was able to get badges, but unfortunately, because he's an Evo card, you can't add any badges to the card. So that being said, he's 6'10" with 85 speed and excel once evoed, which is really nice. Even a decent speed with ball, but his defensive stats are really mediocre. He doesn't get clamps, he doesn't get interceptor or intimidator or pick dodger or ball stripper or chase down artist or bailout or chef, or there's a lot of badges he's missing, and he's a very mediocre defender. Jumper is really good and fundamental dribble style is nice, but the fact that he's missing all those defensive badges is very crucial, and I think that holds the card back for sure from being any high. I guess he's probably the best card in C tier or the worst card in B tier. Well, at least tied for the worst card in B tier with a guy like John Collins, but I'll put him B tier because I don't think he's the baddest guy in C tier, but he's not a guy I recommend at this point in the year. Kuzma, I think C tier is pretty fair for him. He's really mediocre. My boy Legendary Wall, if y'all know who he is on Twitch, was talking this card up a couple weeks ago, and I just did not understand it because what does he do well? He doesn't get limitless or sniper or quick first step or rim protector or post lockdown. His stats are all in the mid 80s, basically low to mid 80s. Jumper is fine. Fundamental dribble still is fine, but nothing that jumps off the page. No elite sigs or badges or stats or anything. He's the best thing he does is rebound, but is rebounding enough to push a card higher than the C tier? In my opinion, with how mediocre he is, he's just a better Anton Jameson. So no, not really. Lamar Odom, I think D tier is pretty fair, right, with Anton Jameson. This Lamar is just really meh. Like 83 speed and excel. Very similar to Anton Jameson, to be completely honest. Limited in badges. Doesn't get defensive badges. He does get playmaking instead. But not worth adding badges to a card like this anyway. He's super mediocre. 80s in stats, generally speaking. Jumper on this card as well is pretty bad with LaMarcus Aldridge base. The other Lamar Odom, the one that we got today, has the Paul George base, which makes him a much better card. And that card is not on this list because he's a primary small forward. But I would say that Lamar Odom would be somewhere up here in the A tier, whereas this Lamar Odom is down on the D tier, kind of a gross option at this point in the year. Larry Bird is pretty slow and can't dunk. So this Larry Bird card is not a card I recommend. 77 speed and excel, mediocre defender. I guess he's okay on defense in terms of his like perimeter and interior lateral quickness stats. Really low block though, not very fast. Needs a lot of badges. Can't dunk. Jumper's okay. He's a pretty knockdown shooter, I will say, when he has space, but this is not a card I'm a fan of. I don't want to put him any higher than D tier because I hated this card even when it came out, and that was literally months ago. A couple weeks into the games when this Larry Bird came out, and I didn't even like him then. So I'm going to leave him a D tier just because I'm not a fan of the card whatsoever. I think Larry Bird, in terms of his pink diamond, does deserve to go somewhere in the B tier. Much better athletic ability. Still not able to dunk, but he's much quicker. Shooting badges are better. Overall badges are better. He needs quick first step still. Needs rim protector, rebound chaser, interceptor, chase down artist. But if you add those few defensive badges as well as the quick first step, he's solidly badged. Jumper is good. Movement is still not elite, but he's a knockdown shooter who can defend a good bit if you add those badges to him. Half bullet passer as well is nice. So not a terrible card, not a great card, but B tier seems pretty fair for a guy like that. Now, LeBron James, one of the other two S tier power forwards on this list, in my personal opinion, is this. I typed in Larry again. Is this Opal LeBron James? And LeBron is a monster. And actually, this is kind of throwing me off because I don't think LeBron should be on this list because he's a primary small forward. And the vast majority of this list is primary power forwards. But either way, whatever the case may be, I guess we'll include LeBron because he is on this list. So 6'9" with a 7-foot wingspan, 95 speed and excel, 92 speed with ball, elite defender, really good dunker, good shooter as well. Badge wise, he's pretty complete. Needs like blinders, chef, limitless. Yeah, he doesn't even really need chef. Blinders and limitless would be good badges to add. Maybe a rim protector, rebound chaser, and then like a handles for days or a worm or something like that, or a chef as well. But really elite defender, really good athlete, solid shooter. Jumper is pretty solid. He doesn't shoot corner threes, but he does everything else at an elite level. Not great movement either. This is like a base or a slasher in terms of his dribble style, but he definitely does deserve to be in the S tier, I think, and I don't really have much doubts about that at all. Maurice Lucas, I think, slots in right next to guys like Anton Jameson and Josh Smith as a really good power forward option. Elite defender, 6'9" with 7'1" wingspan. Some of the best defensive badges in the game. Really good defensive stats as well. He needs quick first step. He needs bailout. He needs limitless spot up. He needs sniper. Badges like that will really help him out catch and shoot as well. And he does have shifty dribble style, which is really nice for power forward, but jump shot 12, not the greatest jumper in the world. Pippin behind the back is really nice. He's actually very similar to a guy like Draymond Green, just slightly better sig and slightly better defense. So I'm putting him higher in the A tier, but I don't think he's good enough to be in the S tier just because I don't love the jumper. And yeah, that's honestly the biggest thing is that the jumper is kind of slow. So I think that prevents him from being quite as elite as I would like him to be. Nick Batum was really good for his time, but his time has passed in all honesty. Again, as an Evo card, doesn't get any badges added either, which kind of hurts the card. Like can't get a limitless or a sniper or a brick wall or rim protector or worm, things like that. Mediocre defender, mediocre athlete, mediocre dunking, mediocre shooting. Jumper is again kind of mediocre. He's another one of those guys who's a mediocre card. He's really kind of very similar to a Kyle Kuzma, I feel like, where he's missing some crucial badges, just not another Evo card who's mediocre but doesn't jump off the page to you in any specific area. Obi Toppin, I think Obi Toppin's actually B tier because I really like his jumper. That's one thing. Base 75 is a jumper that I'm a fan of. I think it's really smooth and easy to green and relatively quick. Good speed, really solid defensive stats. Does need badges. He's an amethyst, so I don't recommend adding badges to him, but he's got some good shooting and playmaking badges already. Really good slasher. Jumper is nice. Movement isn't great at all. Big dribble style, like I said, is horrendous, but everything else, like, he's pretty complete even without some of these badges. Like he doesn't come with, for example, a limitless spot up or a clamps or rim protector. Like, there's some badges he's missing, but for an amethyst, he's a really good card, and I think he does deserve a spot in the B tier 100%. Siakam is the one other guy I'm going to put in the S tier to give us 6 S tier power forward options, and Siakam is a great card, no doubt about it. 6'9" with a 7'3" wingspan, 15 hops, hotspots from almost everywhere. Really good Hall of Fame badges like bullet passer, catch and shoot, corner specialist, downhill, box interceptor, post lockdown, rebound chaser, 88 speed and excel, really good shooter, really good slasher, and super solid defensive card all the way around as well. Pretty complete already in terms of his badges, which is super nice. Doesn't need very many badges added. And the jumper is very similar to Obi Toppin's. It's that same base 75 that I think is super smooth, relatively quick, and really easy to green. I'm a big fan of Pascal Siakam. I think he 100% deserves a spot in the S tier, and I'm a huge fan of the card for sure. Silas is probably end of A tier. Very similar to a guy like Draymond Green. Him and Draymond are actually very similar cards. His SIGs are a little bit better than Draymond's. Draymond is probably the slightly better defender statistically, even though it is really close. Even that might not be true, but they have similar player builds. The good thing about Silas is he has Hoff Interceptor, Hoff Intimidator, Hoff Pogo Stick, which are some nice Hoffs. He needs a lot of shooting badges like blinders, or not even blinders, but more so catch and shoot, sniper, limitless spot up. Those three are pretty crucial on him if you are going to use the card. But if you got him in Season 2 on Triple Threat Online, you probably already badged him out. Jumper is that same jump shot 12. It's the same jumper as Draymond, not the greatest. Shifty dribble style is super nice with the pippin behind the back. So he has solid movement with a little bit slower of a jumper and not the most elite 3-point shooting. He isn't the greatest. I think he still is end of A tier because he's a really good defender, really good defensive badges, has a little bit of playmaking ability and can shoot the ball well, but I would not be able to put him any higher than end of A tier for sure, and even A tier might be pushing it just a little bit. Robert Covington, I think the same tier that Kyle Kuzma and Kyle Kuzma and Nick Batum are on, is the same tier that Robert Covington deserves to be on. 6'7" with a 7'2" wingspan is solid enough size, but he's missing a ton of playmaking badges. Doesn't get rim protector, doesn't get limitless or sniper. Decent-ish speed, but he doesn't move very well. He can shoot wide open and he defends solidly. Jumper is good, but his movement isn't great. He's missing a ton of playmaking badges, so he is the definition of a 3-and-D cone who really doesn't give you much else on the court, and that's the definition of a C player to me. Rudy Gay is another A tier guy. Really solid budget card. 6'8" with 7'3" wingspan. Mostly finishing badges, but he does get every shooting badge except for limitless spot up that you need. Playmaking badges are already pretty darn complete, and then defensive badges you can add a rebound chaser, rim protector, brick wall, post lockdown, things like that to help him out on the interior. But he's a solid perimeter defender, pretty decent interior defender as well. Great slasher, really good athleticism. Jumper is super good. I like Rudy Gay base a ton, and then the quick dribble style as well as the pippin behind the back as well really do help out the card to be one of the more complete options in my team at the power forward position, with really good SIGs and great movement. Some of the best movement, if not the best movement, of any card on this list in terms of being able to create his own shots. So I'm a big fan of Rudy Gay, and I think the A tier is a fair spot for him. Ibaka, I think, also slots into the A tier. He's one of the best budget centers in the game, and he's super solid at the power forward position as well. 6'10" with a 7'4" wingspan, solid speed and excel. Really good defender, even on the perimeter, he's solid. 95 driving dunk as well, really solid shooter. Shooting bad is already pretty good with limitless and sniper. Catch and shoot as well, already coming on the card, which are the biggest ones for catch and shoot. Playmaking badge wise, needs quick first step, needs bailout, maybe glue hands, so those would be nice ones to add to him, as well as maybe a ball stripper or a pick dodger. But overall, really solid defender, smooth, really quick jumper as well, good size, the power forward. He's a solid card. I think A tier is definitely a fair spot to put the card. Sean Kemp, his jumper is awful, which really does limit the card. I'm actually going to put him in the D tier because of how bad I think his jumper is. Just really hard to time. Not a very good defender whatsoever. Not worth putting badges on either, in my personal opinion. Does have quick first step, but doesn't get limitless. The jumper is gross anyways. It's really not good. It's only his jumper. Fundamental dribble style is nice, I guess, but really mediocre defender. I guess he's not as bad as the guys in D tier probably, but I am such a non-fan of the card that I'll put him in C tier, I guess, but I think he's worse than the guys like Anthony Davis and Chris Webber. So end of C tier is where I will put him. Terry Cummings, I don't know. I have not looked at Terry Cummings. I don't think yet this season. He has a great name, but I don't know where he goes in this tier list. 15 Hoffs, most of them are finishing Hoffs. Green Machine Hoffs 100 as well. 85 shot 3, needs limitless and sniper, as well as clamps, interceptor. So he needs some badges added to him. Jump shot 36 is not good, and on a big man you want a good jump shot. He doesn't have elite perimeter defense. He's end of B, I guess, kind of similar level to John Collins. Collins probably has a slightly better jumper Cummings probably has slightly better defense, so I think that the B tier is probably a fair spot at the end of B tier for Terry Cummings. Thad Young, I think C tier, but I don't actually know for sure. This is a card that I did have to pick up to get Diamond Larry Hughes last week, and he has an 82 speed and excel, can shoot the three-pointer wide open. Stats are really mediocre, not worth adding badges to, even if you could. He doesn't have the ability to get limitless spot up, but I wouldn't really add badges to an Amethyst. Fundamental dribble style, Wade release, so that's good movement and really good jumper, but without the elite playmaking badges or speed or anything like that, the playmaking doesn't help a ton. He's going to be a really good catch and shoot guy and a solid defender. One of the better cards in D tier, but still a D tier card nonetheless, in my personal opinion. Tim Duncan, I'm legitimately going to put in F tier. This Tim Duncan card is, oh wait, no, this is the wrong Tim Duncan. I'm tripping. This is the Pink Diamond Tim Duncan. I'm sorry, he's not F tier. This Tim Duncan is B tier. The other Tim Duncan, the Diamond, which is not on this list, is terrible. But 6 level with 7'2" wingspan, decent speed. Jumper is really mediocre. He needs a lot of badges added in terms of shooting and playmaking, but solid enough defender. Jumper is really, it's easy to green. It's just pretty darn slow, but rebound, defensive badges in general are really good with interceptor, intimidator, post lockdown, rebound chaser, rim protector, and then box and worm as well for rebounding. And that does help the card out. I think he's a really good defender even on the perimeter, and he can catch and shoot wide open. And with his badges, he does become a relatively complete start. So B tier seems fair despite the fact that I don't like the jumper. Tom Chambers is horrendous. This card was a day 1 diamond token reward, and he is absolutely awful. Like, I don't think I'm even overstating how bad of a card he is. Really slow, terrible jumper, terrible defender, really bad badges, except for the finishing, and even those aren't good. Set shot 16 is one of the worst jumpers in my team. Has no movement. This card is horrendous. He is easily F tier. Zach Randolph, probably B tier, but I don't actually know for sure. This is not a card I think I may have looked at him like one time, but he does have an 86 shot 3, which is nice. Not the slowest card in the world. Bunch of finishing badges on the interior. Can get limitless, sniper, quick first step. Needs a lot of badges though. Defensive stats are okay. Let's see what his jumper is. He's got Zach Randolph base. I don't know how that jumper is. I'm gonna be honest. I bet it's not probably very good, so I'm gonna move him down to C tier because I don't think that jumper is good. If I'm wrong and that jumper is good, then I think he probably deserves to be a B tier, but I would assume the vast majority likelihood is that Zach Randolph and Chuck Robinson's jumper is not a very good jumper in my team. Zion Williamson is another example of a guy who has a very poor jumper, and his Pink Diamond I'm legitimately putting in D tier because it's that bad of a jumper. 78 shot 3, doesn't get any shooting badges. The jumper is really gross, really ugly. Just not a fan of it at all. His movement sucks. His defense is really mediocre. He needs a ton of badges and doesn't get a lot of them, like all the shooting badges as well as some decent finishing ones as well. I'm sorry, playmaking ones. He's a rim runner. Doesn't do much else well on the court. I think that card is gross, so I think D tier is fair for him. And then finally, we have the other the Zion, which I will put in B tier. Definitely think he's still not the greatest card, but he does have much better stats and badges, which is nice. Becomes a better shooter. Shooting badges become solid. Playmaking badges also pretty solid, and defensive badges even are pretty solid. Could use like a pick dodger, ball stripper, maybe a couple other badges like that, but he's not the fastest. Decentest defender, but really low steal, hurts the ball he can't catch, and he is undersized. I guess 6'7" isn't super undersized, but it's not exactly big. But the same really bad jumper holds the card back for sure, prevents it from being higher than the B tier, and I think that is where he will end in this tier list. So this is going to do it for the video. Let me know what you think of the tier list that I made. Who do you think I ranked too high? Who do you think I ranked too low? And hopefully there's not anybody I left off the list, but if there is, feel free to let me know about it down in the comment section below, and I'll let you know what I would have done with that card if I had put them on the list. So again, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe, and I'll be back with more 2K content very soon. I appreciate y'all. Peace.